Alright YouTube, back again with another video, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to install an SVE radiator on your car. Now, particular, there's going to be the 9704, the 96 is slightly different, and 94 and 95 I think are also slightly different. So 97 to 04 should be the exact same step. If you have a stock radiator, the steps I'm doing should be near the same. Mine might be slightly easier because I have certain things that's not on my car anymore. I don't have a condenser, and most of the stuff is aftermarket for the cooling system. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure that you have a cool car. You do not want to do this when it's hot. You're going to take off the cap, have an aftermarket canteen pan here because the plastic ones are known to break, so I went ahead and upgraded it. You're going to make sure that there's no pressure in there. Second things you're going to need are Mishimoto brackets. I'm going to show you guys on the screen. You can get them from LMR. You need them. If you don't have them, it's not going to work. You need those brackets. Now, the second thing you're going to need is this adapter right here. It's hard to see, but it's the one that's basically fitted into the actual radiator itself. Those are the transmission cooler lines, and you're going to need it to adapt, because if you don't have them, it's not going to work. With that being said, let me go ahead and drain the car of coolant. A couple tools you're going to need: a jack stand, drain pan. I say at least 3 gallons of coolant, and I use this BP Racing additive. I have aftermarket clamps, so they're 8 millimeters. This is an 8. This is a 10, that's a 10, and you're gonna need a plier to get this off the radiator, and then you're gonna take off this bottom hose right here connected to it. But before anything, you want to jack it up. You're gonna go under, take off the cap, and I'm basically just gonna pull the bottom hose connected to the radiator and just let it drain from there. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll continue. So here we are, draining the coolant. I just literally removed the bottom radiator hose. Do not do it from the pepcock. You'll be here for like 10 hours. So just remove the bottom radiator hose and you'll be fine. Well, before we go any further, I want to give a big shout out to my girlfriend Angela. She got me this for Christmas. Thank you very much. Without her, this video wouldn't happen, because my cheap ass would have put this off for a while. But anyways, we're draining the coolant. So now these are both 8 millimeters and these are 10s. Then we're going to take this off with a plier, and then we're going to take that other hose out, and we'll go from there. Alright, so got the radiator out. Main thing is you're going to want to need a 13 mil like crow's foot to get, this is the stock line right here. So if you have your stock radiator, this is the only thing fitting onto it. The reason why I have every other attachment right here is because I'm running an aftermarket additional transmission cooler. If you don't have these transmission coolers, you literally don't have to worry about these other lines, but this 13 mil right here, it's top and bottom. I have to move the fan out the way first to get to this one, because this one is hard to get to. So make sure you get this, because if you don't have this one, you might strip it out with a regular wrench. And basically all you need is this. Now this is the line that you need to buy from LMR. That's what you need to make this work. So your stock transmission cooler lines would fit onto this adapter, and the adapter would fit into the radiator. You can ignore this again, because this, again, I made this because I have an aftermarket transmission cooler. Now if you want to know how to do that, check my other video. I got like 2 videos on it, on how I made it work, but this video was just on the radiator, so I got it out. What I'll do is clean it out with brake cleaner and open that package up, and basically what we're going to do is sit it down and do reversive installation. Really, it's a pretty straightforward job. Like I said, 13 mil is all you need to get this top one and bottom out. So That's all you're really going to need to do. Other than that, pretty straightforward. Alright, so here's the new one, here's the old one. Again, here's the pepcock that goes here. Personally, I don't even use it, but obviously you're going to have to install it and make sure that all the fluid is in there. So go ahead and snug it up with your hand, not too much, it's plastic. Another thing would be, again, you don't need these two if you don't have an aftermarket transmission cooler, but these are the fittings you're going to need to make this work, because without these fittings, the stock cooler lines, which is that one right there, and my brake cleaner cap went into the fluid, that will not fit directly into the cooler line of this SVE. So you're going to need these two, size 16 millimeters. One of your best friends will be Teflon. I would go ahead and clean, because I'm reusing mine, I already have it. I'll put Teflon right here, and I will go ahead and snug it up. Snug it up, it's all you're going to need, because it's threading into aluminum. You want it snug but not super tight. Again, clean mine up. You buy yours brand new, you're not going to need it, so you're not going to need to clean it. It's brand new. So again, Teflon here. I'm gonna flip this over. Looks really good. We'll continue the video right now. So here we go. Put Teflon on both of them, like 16 millimeter. Now when I'm tightening this, I'm not going here, I'm just going from here and just tightening it. You don't want to go super tight. Again, this is aluminum, and you don't want to end up like, you know, breaking anything. So tighten it as tight as, once it gets really snug, again, or they're snug, just snug it up, and basically at this point you're ready to go ahead and put this into the car. But before anything, I want to emphasize the Teflon. You're going to need the Teflon. Like, this thing will leak like a mofo if you do not put Teflon. So use Teflon. Alright, so we got the radiator seated. Put Teflon on that bottom one, tighten it up. This is where you're going to want to put that on first. Don't put that thing last, or don't try to do it under the car, because it'll be a pain. Do it from the top, way easier. Obviously at this point I just have to put all the lines back and put this back on, put the fan back on. The fan is held by two 8mm, one there, and this long pipe right here. That's an 8mm. So other than that, I'm gonna put everything back on. Again, pretty straightforward. Alright, so we got the fan on. I buttoned everything up here. The fan is connected, everything is sitting where it's supposed to be. I just gotta put the reservoir in and these holders in and attach this overflow line, and we should be good to start. And obviously the top hose too. Well, here you go. Everything is on there. Tighten everything as much as you should. All the bolts on there, and yeah, it sets pretty well. Again, it's a pretty straightforward job. The other thing you have to do, and I would say you have to do it properly, is bleed the system. Again, I use Peak. This is a 97. O2 and below Fords, they use green coolant. 03 and above, they use orange. And anything in like the 2014, 15s or anything, I'm pretty sure these orange. Some of them might be like pink. If some of the Fords that are hybrids, I think, might be pink. I'm not quite sure. But again, 02 and below Fords, they use green coolant. 03 and above are orange. Or I used to use Universal and I use Peak. So, spill-proof funnel. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there. We're gonna start it up. I would say it's gonna take about 20 or 30 minutes. What I like is obviously fill it to where it has to be filled. The fan has to kick on twice. At that point, everything should be bled out. Make sure you keep an eye on the temperature gauge. Make sure that, you know, nothing's going funky. Make sure we check for all the leaks, which I'm gonna do right now. Before I jump into that, I'm gonna give it an oil change because it also needs an oil change, so it's already up in the air. I might as well do it. And after that, we're gonna go ahead and start the car and see how everything goes. All right, so we're at almost the last step. We're bleeding the system now. You might want to go around and squeeze the hose here. You know, basically help it get all the air out of the system. You're gonna let this run for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. You're basically waiting for the fan to kick on twice. Once the fan kicks on twice, you should be good. You obviously have to keep an eye on your temp gauge right there. I just use my SCT. It tells me the coolant temp right there. So yeah, other than that, other thing you gotta do is make sure that there's no leaks. So go under, look around, make sure that there's no coolant leak anywhere, because if you do, you're gonna have to address it. Because if you have a coolant leak, your car could definitely overheat and you're going to lose antifreeze, so you don't want that. You make sure that you address every single coolant leak you got, if you can. I mean, you know, so we're just going to wait for this to completely bleed out and then we'll go from there. Alright, so that's basically it. All you got to do is take it for a test drive, make sure that, you know, it doesn't overheat. If it does, make sure that you completely bled the system out, make sure that there's no leaks. If you need to top it off. For the first week, I will keep an eye out on the coolant level. I'll top off the transmission fluid as well, because when you do take off the, the radiator has a built-in transmission cooler in it, so you're going to have to go ahead and just top it off a little bit. You should have lost a little bit of it. Other than that, that's about it. Just keep an eye out on the temperature gauge and everything should be good.